Conquer the Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you've never heard of. My name is Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, August 30th, 2020. Today is the day of WWE Payback, second pay-per-view in 2 weeks. We'll be getting to that in a little bit. But first of all, as always, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Head to patreon.com/CatchHookShoot, which is still under construction. Just bear with me, guys. Then ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for your t-shirt needs, and our brand new web store, CatchHookShoot.BigCartel.com for t-shirts and hats that are not available on Pro Wrestling Tees. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's CatchHookShoot@gmail.com. So starting off the show on a little bit of a sad note this week, we had another loss in the wrestling world. Bullet Bob Armstrong passed away this week at the age of 80. Bullet Bob, of course, just a great wrestler in his own right, and of course the father of all of the Armstrong family: Brad Armstrong, Scott Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, or BG James, or whatever you want to call him. Huge loss to the wrestling world. Bullet Bob Armstrong passed away at the age of 80. So let's get into all of the goings on in professional wrestling this week, starting off like we always do with the match of the week. So this week's match of the week comes from Impact this past Tuesday. It was their Emergence event, night 2, and the match of the week is the 30-minute Iron Man match for the Knockouts title between Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. Grace and Purrazzo, two of the top women's wrestlers in the world right now, in my opinion, put on a fantastic match. Purrazzo was able to retain due to some underhanded tactics, but that's just kind of how it goes when you have a heel champion, right? But fantastic 30-minute Iron Man match between Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. If you have not seen it, definitely go back and check it out. Like I always say, if you're only going to watch one wrestling match this week, make it Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo from Impact Wrestling Emergence Night 2, 30-minute Iron Man match for the Impact Knockouts Championship. So, coming up next on the show, let's get to my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is called the 3 Count. First up on the 3 count, the big dog is back. Roman Reigns made his return at the end of SummerSlam, at the end of the Universal Championship match. We'll get into those SummerSlam results in a little bit here, but at the end of the match, Roman Reigns came out and attacked both Braun Strowman and The Fiend. So, me personally, I was glad to see him back. I know I've said on the show before, WWE needed him back on TV. So, Roman Reigns has made his return to WWE, and he is obviously looking to get back that Universal Championship. Number 2 on the 3 count, also concerning Roman Reigns. Apparently, Roman is now a Paul Heyman guy. If you watch Smackdown on Friday, at the very end, Adam Pearce brought him the contract for the triple threat match coming up at Payback between Strowman, The Fiend, and Roman Reigns. And when Roman signed the contract, he made the comment, he's going to get his Universal title back, and used the familiar catchphrase, "That's not a prediction, that's a spoiler." And the camera panned over to show Paul Heyman sitting next to Roman Reigns, who then leaned in and said, "Believe that." So Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman guy, and apparently this is a heel turn for Roman Reigns, which I'm 100% behind. So I'm very, very anxious to see where this is going to go. So I'll get into my preview and predictions for Payback here in a little bit as well. And number 3 on the 3 count, Killer Cross, or Karrion Kross, relinquishes the NXT title due to a shoulder injury that he sustained at TakeOver during his match with Keith Lee to win that championship. So Cross didn't even get the opportunity to defend that title. Apparently he's going to be out a little bit with the shoulder injury. So hopefully he heals up quick, and whenever he does come back, I'm sure he's going to have that title right back. So getting into the news and rumors and highlights of the week, let's start off with the SummerSlam results. Apollo Crews retained the U.S. title against MVP. Bayley actually was able to defeat Asuka to retain the SmackDown Women's title, but Asuka was able to defeat Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title. Now this, of course, just adds to the dissension between Bayley and Sasha Banks because Bayley basically kind of not really not able to, but didn't really help Sasha to retain her title, and Sasha was visibly unhappy about that. So definitely adding to the dissension and the eventual, I'm sure, breakup of that team. The Street Profits picked up the win against Angel Garza and Andrade to retain the Raw Tag Team titles. Mandy Rose defeated Sonya Deville, so Sonya is quote-unquote out of WWE. This was a loser leaves WWE match, changed from what was originally a hair versus hair match. Now, obviously Sonya's going to be back at some point. She's, of course, got a lot of personal stuff going on with the break-in and all that stuff that happened at her residence not that long ago. So, Sonya Deville taking some time away, and I'm sure when she comes back, she's probably going to get a monster push in the women's division, which she absolutely deserves. Seth Rollins did defeat Dominic Mysterio, but that was actually a very, very good match. That was a contender for match of the week, honestly, considering it was Dominic's first professional match. It was fantastic, but Rollins was victorious in that one. Drew McIntyre was successful in defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton, and The Fiend defeated Braun Strowman to regain the Universal Championship. And the end of that match, of course, as I just talked about, is where we saw Roman Reigns return and attack both men, leading to the triple threat match coming up tonight at Payback. On Monday Night Raw, we had Randy Orton attack Drew McIntyre yet again, hit him with 2 punts to the head right at the top of the show, basically that led to the debut of Keith Lee on Monday Night Raw. So that a lot of people complaining, well, why'd they take the title off of Keith Lee so quick? Well, obviously this is why. He is now a part of Monday Night Raw. Had a pretty good match with Randy Orton. That match was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and that resulted in a third punt, which WWE is going with the story that this is now a career-threatening injury for Drew McIntyre, possibly a skull fracture or something like that. Obviously, it's storyline. They're stretching this story out. The rivalry between McIntyre and Orton, which is great. I mean, I like the rivalry between these two guys, so for them to extend it and then insert Keith Lee in there to get him involved with one of the top stars on Raw, I think is very, very good. We saw, again, MVP continuing to try to recruit Cedric Alexander into the Hurt Business, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go at some point. You're seeing the doubt in Cedric. You're seeing him kind of not really clashing with his partners or his allies, but they're dropping the hints here and there. I'm pretty sure Cedric Alexander will be part of the Hurt Business eventually, and then along the same storylines, we saw Apollo Crews actually defeat Lashley in an arm wrestling match. I'm not real fond of these kind of spots, the arm wrestling and the stuff like that, but it is what it is. Natalia and Lana had made an appearance in the ring. Haven't really seen too much of them, but apparently they're they are now involved in a storyline with Mickie James, which is very good to see Mickie James back in the ring. So, hopefully, the women's division is going to start expanding and getting some women on TV that haven't had a whole lot of TV time lately. And the main event was Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on Rollins and Murphy in a tag team match. This match ended in no contest when Retribution attacked yet again. There was a lot of speculation about who's going to eventually be the members of Retribution to be revealed. One of the big rumors is Dominic Dijakovic, and he actually did drop a little bit of a hint on Twitter earlier in the week. He posted something and took it down right away. It was a series of numbers, but if you decipher it, it basically said Sunday. So could Retribution be making an appearance at Payback tonight? That wouldn't be a huge surprise to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing are we going to have an attack by Retribution, and are we going to see maybe some kind of reveal as to who the members are? A lot of the speculation is like Chelsea Green, Dio Madden, basically NXT people that have not had too much TV time at all, especially recently. So I'm very, very interested to see where this is going to go. Moving over to NXT, we saw the return of Wade Barrett to the WWE. He was on commentary for NXT, so apparently he's no longer part of the NWA. He is back on the WWE website as an active member of the NXT roster. So whether he's going to wrestle or not, I don't know, but he is with NXT on commentary. I spoke about earlier about Karrion Kross relinquishing the NXT title, and that has led to a 4-way 60-minute Iron Man match coming up next week on NXT, and the 4 men going to be involved in that match are Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, and Johnny Gargano in a 60-minute 4-way Iron Man match. This match is going to be insane, and it's going to be half the show. So, I can't wait to see that, and of course the winner of that match will be your new NXT champion. We've got new NXT Tag Team Champions in Breezango. They were able to defeat Imperium for the tag team titles. Saw the return of Tommaso Ciampa to NXT. He's been gone for a couple of months, and he basically came out and destroyed Jake Atlas. And a lot of people were calling this a heel turn, but Ciampa always had, the heel tendencies like that. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a heel turn, but he's definitely showing a little bit more viciousness, which I like. So, and he will be involved in that 4-way Iron Man match for the NXT title this coming week. So I can't wait for that. I'm making an early prediction that that's going to be the match of the week. So I'll have to wait and see. And then a little bit of a surprise on NXT. Shotzi Blackheart picked up a win over Mia Yim. Now Mia Yim is another one that's been speculated to be part of Retribution, and she's been on a little bit of a losing streak and stuff like that. So it would play well if she is a part of it. So, Shotzi Blackheart picked up a big win over Mia Yim. Moving on to Smackdown, we actually saw an appearance from Vince McMahon at the beginning of the show, and he assigned Adam Pearce to get the contract signed for the Triple Threat Championship, Universal Championship match coming up at Payback tonight. And he, got Bray Wyatt's signature in the Firefly Funhouse, showing up as Postman Pierce, and Bray Wyatt did sign the contract, and then got the signature from Strowman after Strowman basically decimated Drew Gulak. I mean, that was just we basically witnessed a live murder in the ring. But Strowman did sign that contract, and I already talked about Roman Reigns signing the contract with Paul Heyman sitting right next to him. We saw another return this week. Sami Zayn coming back to SmackDown with the Intercontinental title. Showed up after the opening match with Jeff Hardy defending against Shinsuke Nakamura, and basically took out Jeff Hardy. Sami Zayn still claiming to be the Intercontinental Champion, never lost the title, saying that AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy are both frauds because he never lost the title, they never beat him for the title. So Sami Zayn back on SmackDown. Then we, of course, before Zayn left, he was basically like the manager, mouthpiece, whatever you want to call it, for Cesaro and Nakamura. We saw a spot with them backstage, and they basically kicked Sami Zayn out of the room. They said, you've been gone for 4 months, a lot of stuff has changed, this and that. So it looks like that association is pretty much done with Sami Zayn and the tag team champions, Cesaro and Nakamura. We're seeing some dissension in the Lucha House Party in the last couple of weeks, and Kalisto just recently returned from an injury, and he's been having some words and a little bit of pushing and shoving with Lince Dorado. So it looks like Lucha House Party may be splitting up. I like that they've got Lucha House Party on TV, that they're involving them at least in some kind of storyline, with the tag team champions. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I mean, Lucha House Party really is, I think, an underutilized group of guys in the WWE. You know, all three of them fantastic in-ring performers. They can do some amazing stuff in the ring. So, you know, it's good to see them getting a little bit more of the spotlight. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Kalisto and Lince Dorado. And then Alexa Bliss seems like she is going through some type of metamorphosis. I mean, we saw Nikki Cross backstage. She had her coffee mug that Alexa Bliss had gifted her last year. Nikki was talking to Tamina. Then Alexa came in, was talking to both of them, and Nikki noticed that Alexa had the way that she was wearing her hair. She was wearing it in the two pigtails like she always used to do, a while back, and but on one side of her head, she had one like dreadlock, kind of like what the way the Fiend has his hair, and Nikki made mention that it kind of reminded her of the Fiend, and that set Alexa off a little bit. She smashed Nikki's coffee mug, and so yeah, I think we are seeing a slow heel turn with Alexa Bliss, and it wouldn't surprise me to see her associated with the Fiend in the very, very near future. And then the main event, we saw Heavy Machinery and Big E pick up a win over The Miz, John Morrison, and Sheamus. Now, Sheamus walked out in the middle of this match, got frustrated with Miz and Morrison, but the real main story here is Big E and Sheamus. It looks like this is Big E's first major singles rivalry, and they couldn't have picked a better opponent for him. And Big E, hopefully, he's gonna be having the singles run while Kofi and Xavier Woods are out with injuries. So I'm looking forward to see what they're going to be doing with Big E. I'm hoping he gets some type of title shot or something. I'm hoping that's what this leads to. But I think starting him off on his singles run with Sheamus is definitely the right way to go. So and they've got a match coming up at Payback as well. I'll get into that. Actually, right now, I'll get into my previews and predictions for Payback. We've got Bayley and Sasha Banks defending the women's tag team championship against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, of all people. I mean, Baszler and Jax have basically been going after each other the last couple of weeks. Jax took out Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir on Raw Underground, and they've just taken every opportunity to jump on each other, and now they're tag team partners. It's doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think it's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think they'll work well as a tag team, but it's another one of these cut and paste tag teams that WWE is kind of infamous for, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I do think they are going to end up winning the women's tag team championships at the pay-per-view tonight, and that's just going to add even more to the dissension between Bayley and Sasha Banks. Apollo Crews will be defending the United States Championship, and I'm sorry if you're hearing noise in the background. I've got a window open and somebody's doing something in the alley, but Apollo Crews defending the U.S. Championship against Bobby Lashley. And this could be where we see the turn of Cedric Alexander, and costing Apollo Crews that U.S. title. So I'm picking Bobby Lashley to win the United States Championship. Then we are going to see the match between Keith Lee and Randy Orton. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's Keith Lee's pay-per-view debut for WWE, or his singles match pay-per-view debut. Of course, he was in the Royal Rumble, but this will be his first singles match on a WWE pay-per-view on the main roster. I'm really not sure in this one. I mean, I could see them, giving Keith Lee the victory in this one just to kind of establish him as a force in WWE, but I don't see Randy Orton taking a loss because he's still in that WWE title picture, and Drew McIntyre is only going to be out like a week or two, so I'm going to go with Randy Orton in this one, or possibly like a disqualification or a no contest, something along those lines. But if it goes to an actual decision, I'm going to pick Randy Orton. Then we've got a tag team match, again, a rematch from Raw that the match never got to really get finished. Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. I know I picked Dominic to beat Rollins at SummerSlam. That didn't happen, but I'm going to go with Dominic and Rey Mysterio for the victory in this one. I'm gonna say Dominic's gonna get the victory over Murphy to win this match. I don't think Rollins is gonna take the pin, but I think Dominic is gonna end up getting the pin over Buddy Murphy. Then we've got Matt Riddle taking on King Corbin. Of course, Corbin has been offering basically a bounty on the head of Matt Riddle because saying he doesn't belong on SmackDown and all this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna pick Matt Riddle to pick up the victory in this one. Big E taking on Sheamus. Of course, this stemming from all of the back and forth that these two have had on SmackDown the last couple of weeks. I'm gonna pick Big E in this one to pick up the win and get his singles run off to a good start. And then for the WWE Universal Championship, we've got The Fiend defending against Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. I'm actually gonna pick Roman Reigns to win this one, and I think he's gonna pick up the victory over Strowman. I don't think The Fiend is gonna take the pin. Because they're going to continue to make The Fiend look strong because he is the pretty much the top guy on SmackDown, but Roman Reigns is also going to be in that top spot. So I'm going to say Roman is going to win the Universal Championship by pinning Braun Strowman. Moving on to some AEW news, we saw Hangman Page get kicked out of the Elite, and this is stemming from him costing the Young Bucks a shot at the AEW tag team titles by interfering in the gauntlet match that was going on to determine who would get the title shot at All Out coming up on September 5th, which is next Saturday actually. So but yeah, FTR ended up winning that gauntlet match, so they do get the tag team title shot at All Out. We saw the AEW debut of Sean Maluta, formerly from NXT, member of the Samoan Dynasty, the nephew of, I believe it's Afa's nephew from the Wild Samoans. But his debut was against Lance Archer, unfortunately, and he basically got destroyed. But good to see Sean Maluta in AEW. Then after the match, we were seeing a promo from Jake the Snake Roberts and Lance Archer, which was interrupted by Team Taz, which is Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. Now, the promo was talking about the Casino Battle Royale coming up at All Out, which, of course, same as last year, 21-man Battle Royal. They draw for entry, and they enter 5 at a time, and then there's the one, number 21, of course, enters dead last. And Archer saying he's going to win, Taz saying one of his guys is going to win. In the middle of all this, we saw Darby Allin come out and just go after Ricky Starks, and the two of them fight all the way to the back. But we're also getting, hints at maybe a clash between Lance Archer and Brian Cage, which would be just fantastic. I can't wait to see that. Had the contract signing between Jon Moxley and MJF for their match coming up at All Out, and part of that contract was that in the match, Moxley will not be allowed to use his finishing move, the Paradigm Shift, the double arm DDT. And Mox signed the contract and handed it back over to MJF and his lawyer that we've seen the last couple of weeks, and basically said, well, thank you for signing all 17 pages, and the lawyer, in his confusion, said there was only 16 pages, and then Mox dropped the bombshell that the 17th page stated that the lawyer had to wrestle Moxley this coming week on Dynamite, so that should be entertaining to say the least. Then we had an 8-man tag team match, the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers taking on Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, Sonny Kiss, and Joey Janela. Of course, the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers were victorious in this one. They had Eddie Kingston in their corner, so this is obviously a new faction that we've got in AEW. Great to see Pillman and Garrison on Dynamite, though. I mean, they've had several matches on AEW Dark, and to now see them actually on Dynamite on TNT is pretty cool. We got another promo from the Dark Order. Basically, they walked out with a coffin. Inside the coffin was Dark Order member 10 with the Nightmare family jacket over his face, kind of trying to make it look like Dustin. But, in the midst of this promo, or was trying to make it look like Cody, not Dustin. In the midst of the promo, Dustin, QT Marshall, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona came out and basically, chased off the Dark Order. So, it looks like that. I'm sure that's going to be a match coming up very soon. Now, Scorpio Sky's involvement in this was a little bit of a surprise, but I'm pretty sure that's because of him wanting that TNT championship, which right now is held by Brody Lee. Big Swole picked up a victory in a handicap match against Rebel and Penelope Ford. Technically, it was a 3-on-1. Britt Baker was technically part of the team with Rebel and Penelope Ford, but she never got in the ring, never got out of her wheelchair. But as a result of the victory, Big Swole now will get her match with Britt Baker at All Out. And then the main event of Dynamite, Sammy Guevara defeated Matt Hardy in a tables match. Now, I have to apologize for last week. I was talking about AEW and Matt Hardy, and I kept saying Jeff Hardy because in my notes all I had was the last name. So I gotta say thanks to my buddy Cowboy Archie for pointing that out to me. So now I actually use full names in my notes. But yeah, Guevara defeated Matt Hardy in a tables match, continuing their rivalry. I think this one is far from over. And at the end of this one, we saw Orange Cassidy attack Chris Jericho in the announce booth. So, and obviously the two of them have a match coming up at All Out this week or next week as well. Now, as far as All Out, I am actually next week I'm going to try to drop the show early on Saturday so I can get my predictions in for that one. But if not, if I end up not dropping the show until Sunday, then obviously I'll have all the results and everything like that. Moving on to Impact, like I said, we had Emergence Night 2. Eddie Edwards retained the Impact World title against Rob Van Dam. Obviously a great match between those two guys. We saw an attack from Eric Young afterwards, and we're going to see that title match next week. Eddie Edwards taking on Eric Young. We saw Brian Myers pick up a win over Willie Mack. Kind of a surprise, but I'm liking Brian Myers in Impact so far, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him. And I already talked about Deonna Purrazzo picking up the win over Jordan Grace in that 30-minute Iron Man match, which was the match of the week. So that's going to do it for news and rumors for the week. Right now, I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey there, wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with your Indie Cut. There was more wrestling action this week and some news, so let's begin with the news I forgot to talk about last week, and that is the DDT Ironman Heavy Metal Championship being won by Dean Malenko. That's right, Malenko defeated both Sammy Guevara for his Pakistan title and Joey Janela for his DDT title with a hard wrist lock and an armbar to win both. You can check out the footage on Sammy Guevara's YouTube vlog number 282. Kind of funny, and I suggest you take a look at it if you want to see Dean Malenko win the DDT Championship. Can't wait to see who wins it next. FTR's beer cans, Adam Page's whiskey bottle, you never know. But so let's begin with some wrestling action from August 21st. Pro South Wrestling Uprising 2020 in Piedmont, Alabama. They had an attendance of 40. In their heavyweight title match, Eric Silva, who was champion, defeated Trevor Aon. We move up to Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit, Cheap Heat, where their Cruiser Core title match of champion Tanner Nix defeated Kyle Barrett. Then KFW Wrestling, killing it, from Seaverville, Tennessee. Kenzie Page defeated Nate Wild. Kenny Morden defeated Chris Crunk. For the KFW title match, champion Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Lotus. Now, I could not find where Brian Pillman Jr. won the title, but congrats to Pillman on being champion. So there you go. And then in their KFW Daredevils title TLC match, champion Hunter Drake defeated Kevin Ryan. We go to wrestling in the USA freelance shows, No Ring Deathmatch, New York City, New York, where a loser mows the lawn, No Ring Deathmatch, and Kit Osborne defeated Casanova Valentine. So I guess he has to mow the lawn. We head over to West Side Extreme Wrestling. That's right, WXW shortcut to the top 2020 from Germany. So they are back on the map, running shows. Nice to see. Killer Kelly defeated Sarah Leon. And the WXW World Tag Team title, Maggot and Prince O'Hara, who are champions, defeated Alpha Kelvin and Mike Schwartz. Champion Bobby Guns defeated Tristan Archer in a Unified World Wrestling title match. And then in a Battle Royal, Mike Schwartz won that. Big Japan Wrestling and 01 held a dual contest with an attendance of 113, where Masato Tanaka defeated Drew Parker. And Strong and Daisuke Sakamoto, Yuji Okabayashi, and Yuji Hino defeated Akira Hoyoro, Takura Numero, and Toa Owasaki. Actress Girls put on another show from Kurgan Hall. Then August 22nd, and a show I would have loved to have seen, Russell Pro from Union, New Jersey. Falaba defeated Steve Gibke. Ray Lynn of Warrior Wrestling and other promotions defeated Lady Frost. For the Russell Pro Tag Team titles, JP Grayson and Tommy Grayson defeated champions Malcolm Moss and Ronnie Moses. In the Russell Pro Silver title match, Matt McIntosh defeated champion Shane Donovan to become new champion. For the Russell Pro Gold title match, Anthony Bowens, who is champion, defeated LSG. In the Cap title three-way match, champion VSK defeated Johnny Cash and Justin Carino. Okay, and then in a singles match, Brian Myers faced Joey Janela to a no contest because the tag champions of JP Grayson and Tommy Grayson interfered and called for a match. So that led Brian Myers and Joey Janela defeating JP Grayson and Tommy Grayson to become tag champions. Yes, Brian Myers and Joey Janela are Wrestle Pro tag champions. And Brian Myers won a match. Hey, it's 2020, folks. We move up to Wisconsin Pro Wrestling Collision Course in De Pere, Wisconsin. So you are now on the map. They had a WPW heavyweight title match where Brock Hall defeated champion TW3 to become new champion. Down to Wrestling for a Cause, Summer Sizzler 2020 from Owasso, Oklahoma. So you are now on the map. In their heavyweight title match, Alex Royal defeated champion Sam Stackhouse to become new champion. In a Universal Wrestling Enterprises No Bummer Summer from Cadillac, Michigan, they held a show where in their heavyweight title match, Yanni Gionos, champion, defeated Eric Freedom. In a Stan Styles Intergender Bonanza 6, Stan's Birthday Bash from Williamstown, New Jersey, Ava Everett defeated Mr. Ooh La La. In their Intergender Bonanza title 5-way match, champion Ray Lynn, she was kind of busy these days, defeated Drew Blood, Mike Law, Xavier Cross, and Joey Sky to retain. Then in the tag match, Matt Tremont and Stan Styles defeated Jimmy Lyon and Mark Angel. Then down to Southern Fried Championship Wrestling from Loganville, Georgia. They had an attendance of 320, so good, very good for them. The tag team of Griff Garrison of AEW Dark and Dynamite this week, and Marcus Cross defeated CT Keys and Tyler Culprit. Then they're at the Southern Fried Tag Title match of Adrian Hawkins and Bobby Moore defeated champions Billy Buck and Matt Sales to become new champions. And in a non-title match, Corey Hollis and Michael Judas went to a no contest. Then we go to SCW Pro Rock Island in the Sun from Rock Island, Illinois. So nice to see them running a show. In their SCW Pro title match, the one called Manders, who was champion, defeated Connor Braxton. There are two Lucha Libre and Laugh Good News Everywhere shows from Denver, Colorado. Nothing of big importance there. Then Laredo Pro Wrestling Guild from Forsyth, Georgia, with a 10 to 150. You are now on the map with their Laredo Pro Lionheart title match with champion Friday defeating Tony Storm, and Laser defeating George North. Not sure if he was George South, this be calling George North. I've seen that happen before with him. And then in the main event, it was Doc Gallows teaming with Leva Vanez to defeat Eric Harris and Alexander Koloff. So that one had to be a good match. Then to Game Changer Wrestling, Tournament of Survival 5, Atlantic City, New Jersey, in the Sandlot at the Showboat. Alex Colon defeated Ricochet Page to win that very bloody tournament. Then to Black Label Pro for the second show of the day. We're back, a wrestler story from Crown Point, Indiana. Joey Bishop defeated Gary J. He had helped to win. Trey Miguel defeated Trey Lamar with a top rope Meteora in a very good match. In a four-way match, Dan the Dad defeated Cabana Man Dan, Colin Delaney, and the Man Scout Jake Manning. During the match, all four fought in a tent. Then Dan double powerbomb suplex Man Scout through the tent. And then Dan the Dad won with a figure four on Man Scout for the win. It was a fun match, I must say. Then it was for the Black Label Pro tag titles. Besties in the World, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett defeated champions Danhausen and Ethan Page to become new champions. They hit Danhausen with a double knee brainbuster to become new champions. This was also a very good match. Always nice to see Besties in the World, Danhausen and Ethan Page on any show. So nice to see. Effie defeated Gangrel. Yes, Gangrel of all people. Effie won with a roll-up as Gangrel was trying to grab his finisher in a decent match. Then the newly crowned Black Label Pro champion Jake Something defeated Chris Masters with a Black Hole Slam. Billy Starks defeated Elena Black with a behind-the-back tombstone piledriver in a very nice but short match. Big Beef defeated Levi Everett with a big top rope splash after a distraction from Mickey Knuckles. I believe it's a different Mickey Knuckles, but a few years have gone by, you never know. And then for the Black Label Pro Midwest title, champion Kylie Ray defeated Blake Christian with a Russian leg sweep into her smiley crossface. This was an awesome match and match of the weekend in my opinion. Blake even put over Kylie for being so good at the end of the match. So check that out if you can. That is Black Label Pro. Let me go back up. Black Label Pro. We're back, a wrestler story. So check that out if you can. Then there was a Black Wrestlers Matter show from Des Moines, Iowa, where JC defeated Airwolf and JDX defeated ACH. So, I'm not sure where that was broadcast from, but if you can, show your support there. Then East Coast Pro Wrestling, Celtic Chaos 2020, from the Reserve Mines in Nova Scotia, Canada, so you are now on the map. In their heavyweight title 8-man tag elimination match, which was vacant, Charlie Hubley, Lincoln Steen, The Answer, and Troy Merrick became champions, defeating Casey Williams, Mike Hughes, Narcus Saint, and Titus. So there you go. Over to Tigers Pro Wrestling Summer Show Part 2 from France. Yes, France, you're on the map in wrestling. They had a title match of Eddie Marston, who was champion, defeating Camus. And then there was another show called Rixie, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Catch, also from France, where Tristan Archer defeated Antoine Bernard. Big Japan Wrestling held a show also with an attendance of 70. Oscar Pro Best of Oscar tournament continued on with an attendance of 123, with a 6-man tag match of Asami Kodaka, Shigo Takabani, and Udamaro defeating Keijo Matsuda, Tajiri, and Takio Kito. I'll get to that later on about the finals. Then August 23rd, Beyond Wear Sunscreen from Atlantic City, New Jersey on the Garden Pier. Yes, they're back on the pier again. Willow Nightingale defeated Max Caster. Pinky Sanchez defeated Solo Darling with a moonsault headbutt in a disputed 3 count. Good match, cool move, and nice to see Solo Darling back in action. Then Lady Frost and Victor Benjamin defeated Beer Country of Beer Boulder and Beer Brunson in what I consider a very big upset with a DVD 450 splash with a double pin. It was a good match, and it was in the rain, so it even got it was a little chaotic there for a moment, and probably shortened up the match itself. Then, still raining, Alley Cat, being scared of the rain, defeated Slade with a big Larry Cat after a big bump on the deck by Slade, which looked like it might have knocked him out a little bit, but she ended up winning. Then the sun came out and started baking on Injustice, which is Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed. They defeated Kristen Casanova and Tasha Steeles. Jordan used a loaded right hand on Tasha for the win. I don't think you really need to do that, but hey, what do you want? Then Joy Janela defeated Kimberly with a top rope double foot stomp in a good hard-fought match. And you will see them at Warrior Wrestling coming up. Then Chris Dickinson defeated Priscilla Kelly. He won with STF in a hot fought match. These two were baking. And if you've ever seen Priscilla Kelly, she is pasty white and was getting some color by the end of the match. So it was nice to see them both wrestling once again. Then Game Changer Wrestling, Jimmy Lloyd's Jersey Shore from the Garden Pier as well. This was during SummerSlam, so I did not get to see all of this show. So Cole Radrick defeated A.R. Fox. Chris Dickinson defeated Lee Moriarty, who will be at Warrior Wrestling. Blake Christian defeated Andrew Everett. In a death match, AJ Gray defeated Lucky 13. KTB and Shane Mercer defeated the Injustice of Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed. In another death match, Jimmy Lloyd defeated Elena Black, who will be at Warrior Wrestling. Pinky Sanchez defeated Effie. And in a match I did see some clips of, pretty wild and all over the pier, Joy Janela defeated Alex Zane, who will both be at Warrior Wrestling coming up. We head to Asylum Wrestling Revolution from Indianapolis, Indiana, in a barbed wire massacre death match. Dale Patricks defeated Chuck Stein. All-Star Pro Wrestling, Bethany, Oklahoma. For the women's title match, Erica, who was champion, defeated Skylar Slice. Revolution Pro. So yeah, Rev Pro, Epic Encounters 1. They're back in action from Hampshire, England. So you are back on the map, Rev Pro. Congratulations. They had no attendance, so they kept safe. Robbie X defeated Connor Mills. Brandon White defeated Kenneth Halfpenny. Dan Maloney defeated Callum Newman. Aaliyah James defeated Bobby Tyler. Kyle Fletcher and Ricky Knight Jr. defeated Michael Oku and Will Ospreay. I missed that match. I wish I didn't. Then Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's title match. Champion Giselle Shaw defeated Jamie Hayter. So nice to see Rev Pro back in action. And they will be doing another show soon, I believe. So good on them. There was a Pro Wrestling Wave Sunday show, volume 39, with an attendance of 120. Pure J with an attendance of 30. And Ice Ribbon, new Ice Ribbon 1065, where Risa Shera defeated Yuki Masahiro. Dragon Gate, the Gate Adventure, Day 7. They had a noon show. And then they had an evening show with a attendance of 333, where Dragon Kid, Masada Yoshino, and Tsushimi Yokosaka defeated Jason Lee, Kota Miyanoura, and KZY. DDT, King of the DDT final from Corrigan Hall, where Tetsuya Endo defeated T-Hawk in a very good match to win their money and trophy. So check that out if you can. You know where to go. Check out DJ Yancey if you need to. So yeah, Big Japan Pro Wrestling number 27, when attendance of 165 took place. Then, as I told you, Ohio Valley Wrestling 1097 is up on YouTube from Jeffersonville, Indiana, where Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Corey Storm. And the OVW Southern Tag Team title match, champions Big Zoe and Cashflow defeated Anthony Katerna and Tony Bizzo. H2O Wrestling Hardcore Hustle continued on with show number 31. Marvelous That's Women's Pro Wrestling from Tokyo, Japan, where Mio Momono defeated Hero. Dragon Gate Day 8 with an attendance of 119. Yeah, that's enough for that. Then August 25th, DDT Ganbare Pro Heaven's Door for their Independent World Junior Heavyweight title match, where Asuka defeated champion Agani Shinoi to become new champion. Yeah, Pro Wrestling Basra 131. Union Pro Max title, champion Fuminaro Abe defeated Daike Tsunemura. August 26th, Limitless The Road number 5. Ace Romero defeated Rip Bison. Eric Johnson defeated the Dirty Drifters of Ike the Bite and Jacob Drifter. Then in the Best of 5 series, Alexander Lee defeated Frank Yeager, and he leads 2-1. And in a non-title match, Anthony Green defeated Ava Everett. New Japan's Summer Struggle Day 12 took place, and this was where the first of the crazy tournament started place. First match was a no-finisher match, and El Desperado defeated Satoshi Kajemi by DQ because he used his finisher. In a round 2-count pinfall match, Toriano defeated Bushi. In a submission match, Sonata defeated Sho, and a very good match, I must say. Sho is really standing out. Oh, speaking of Sho and Yo had to relinquish their junior heavyweight tag team titles, so they will probably have a junior tag team match coming up for New Japan. So I will keep you informed on that. Then in a 3-on-1 handicap match, Okada defeated Gato, Jado, and Yujiro Takahashi. So they all four met last night. I'll get to that in a moment. Sealing held their 5th anniversary show on YouTube, so I won't tell you too much about that show. August 27th, New Japan held day 13 with almost all tag matches, but they had an attendance of 643, so that's pretty good. Noah Go For It 2020 took place. Nothing really big happened there. Same with Dragon Gate day 9 with a attendance of 190. DDT, if you lose Current Blast on the Street show, this took place in an amusement park. I have not seen any footage of this yet, so we'll get to that maybe next week, if at all. So, yeah. Big Japan Wrestling, Uno Pro Wrestling Summer Festival, Day 1, Part 1, with an attendance of 115, and an outdoor stage took place. And then Part 2 later on, with an attendance of 120, took place. So 5 more people showed up for their evening show. I Believe in Wrestling 210 from Winter Park, Florida. Team Vision Dojo rookie title match. Nick Quinones defeated champion Jimmy Taylor to become the champion. And then in the AWA Florida Tag Team title match, Amber Nova and Deion James defeated champions Blake Banks and Daniel Lacey to become new champions. So nice for Amber Nova to get more titles in there. August 28th, Middle Kingdom Wrestling from Harbin, China. They're on YouTube, so check that out. That's Middle Kingdom Wrestling. Oz Academy had a show with an attendance of 999, so that's really good for them. Champion Mayomo Ozaki, who was their Academy Openweight title holder, defeated Soro Oni. Alright, then WXW was back in action. No title matches in that, so no need to talk too much. Then mid-evening last night, Premier Wrestling Federation held a Colby Carino's backyard wrestling party. Yes, in Colby Carino's backyard, which is pretty much the front yard, because they wrestled till the streetlights came on. Kind of cool, kind of a throwback from your days when you had to go home when the lights came on. They kept wrestling and for like 5 minutes afterwards. So Bojack defeated Antonio Ace, Donnie Ray, Lindsey Price, Jay Malachi, and Flex Simmons. Then Dave and Zane Dawson defeated Blanco Loco and Ellie, who's a cool tag team, by the way. Oh my bad. And then Dudes with Attitudes, Joe Harrison and Mikey Phillip, they won. They're the PWF Tag Champions. That was a pretty fun match. Then for the PWF title, champion Mason Miles defeated Patrick Scott and TGA Moss. And in the main event, the George Nasty Boys of George South, Timmy Lou Redden, and White Mike were defeated by the Ugly Ducklings of Colby Carino, Lance Lude, and Rob Killjoy. The Ducklings were driven out on an ATV by, I believe, Colby's little brother, if Steve Carino said that correctly. Yes, he was on commentary, but don't say I told you. There was a crossbody from the tree. Yes. Then Colby did a frog splash off a ladder through a door. That wasn't even enough to win for the win. Someone did a move from the house's roof, but IWTV did not show it, which I was very disappointed in. I'd love to see how that went. But Colby did a sunset flip on George South for the win. In an interesting match and show, but so nice to see that. Then New Japan Strong, number 4, in California. In an 8-man tag match, Agent Quest, Bear Brown, Blake Christian, and Mysterioso Jr. defeated ACH, Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, and TJP in a very cool match. And in their main event, it was Chase Owens defeating PJ Black. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Then Goto Move Shaka Pro number 43. Rookie's first anniversary show. It's on YouTube, so check that out. Asuka Pro Summer attends 111. In the semifinal matches, in Block B was Koji Doi defeating Hiroshi Yamato. And in Block A, it was Yusaki Kodema defeating Minoru Tanaka. Then on to earlier today, August 29th, Riot City Wrestling, number 215, back from Hinsmarsh, Australia. For the RCW title, champion Rocky Marnero defeated Jeff Armstrong. Sendai Girls had a show. Ice Ribbon 1066 took place from the 10th of 342. They had a WWW World Underground Wrestling Women's Title match where Tekla defeated champion Cherry to become new champion. Then my favorite Tokyo Pro Princess Cup Day 5, the final, due to their taking a week off due to coronavirus. So the final was Mizuki defeating Soka Nakajima in a very good match. The show was fun. I enjoyed it very much. It was like 10 o'clock at night here. It was over a little after midnight. So if you could check out Tokyo Pro, please do. You know, check out DJ Antsy. He showed it live, so that was pretty good to see. Then from later in the morning, or early morning, or however you want to call it, New Japan Summer Struggle in Jinju, from the Jinju Stadium with an attendance of 4,710. So they got what they came for. King of Pro Wrestling champion is Toriano. He defeated El Desperado, rolling up Okada for the win, and Sonata just missed the break, but not, interesting match nonetheless. And for the never openweight title, Minoru Suzuki defeated Shingo Takagi in a very hard-fought match. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, Taiji Ishimori defeated Hiromu Takahashi to become new champion. That was a fun match. Check that out. The tag titles were retained by Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. And then for the IWGP Heavyweight title and Intercontinental title, Tatsuya Naito defeated Evil in a very, very good match. So check that out if you can. Then early this afternoon, live on Twitch from Played by Julian. That's Ethan Page. He did his Alpha 1 show, Escape from Your Basement, in a parking lot in Oshawa, Canada. At one point, they had over 15,000 viewers, so very good for Ethan Page. Fight or Flight, which is Firza and Von Vertigo, lost to the Space Pirates, my friends of Shane Saber and Space Monkey. They are now the #1 contenders for the tag titles, so very nice to see. Jesse V lost to Travis Moore. Jesse V defeated Travis Moore and Mike Forte. Then All Eagle Ethan Page defeated Kobe Durst with his Big Boy Bomb in a very good match. Then they had an Alpha 1 Outer Limits Championship Hardcore Elimination match with champion Steve Brown defeating Jody Threat, Holden Albright, and BMD. That was a pretty good match where the Door almost won, but so check that out on Twitch if you can. It's Played by Julian. And in the main event, it was champion Mark Wheeler, who was their Alpha Male champion. He defeated Josh Alexander when his helper Jesse V interfered with a one-arm powerbomb while the ref was knocked down. Fun show nonetheless. Check it out. Help out Ethan on his Twitch stream if you want. I know I tried my best. And maybe even Space Monkey will say hi to you which he did to me, which is very cool. So that's a wrap for me. Sorry I'm so long yet again. Till next time with any more indie news or shows that come about, don't forget to look up those Twitch streams on YouTube and Twitch. Check out Get the Tables. Get the Tables. You're now pretty cool in my book. Thanks for saying hi to me. DJ Yancey, Saz Variance, and WrestleCast Radio. You know where you guys stand with me. You're all cool. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Stay safe, take care, and be kind to everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, that was Charlie G with your indie cut for this week. Thank you, as always, Charlie, doing a great job contributing to the show. So normally this is where I would have the fan of the week, but honestly, I haven't been spending much time on social media lately other than just kind of... checking it out, retweeting stuff. So I don't have a fan of the week this week, unfortunately. But I will try to, obviously get back into that part of the show in the near future. But for right now, we're going to move on to the next segment where I get to play armchair promoter a little bit, and I'm talking about the Fantasy Booker. Alright, so for the Fantasy Booker, we are continuing with the first round of the CHS Faction Tournament. If you remember last week, I told you I'm doing a little tournament here, 16 of what I think are the top factions throughout wrestling. Last week we had the Four Horsemen going over on the NWO. This week's matchup, kind of interesting. Like I said, I put these 16 factions together and randomized the pairings for the first round. And this matchup we've got this week is D-Generation X versus The Brood. Now, The Brood really was a short-lived faction, but one of the more popular ones. I'm talking about Gangrel, Edge, and Christian. This is when Edge and Christian were pretty much brand new to the WWE, were put together with Gangrel, had the kind of vampire gimmick, had what I think is the coolest entrance in the history of pro wrestling, coming up through the Ring of Fire and the stage. Here this week they're matched up against DX, probably one of the top 2 or 3 factions ever in the history of professional wrestling. And this version of DX that I'm talking about is, of course, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws. That's the version of DX that I'm using for this. And as much as I love the Brood, I gotta give it to DX this week with the victory, moving on to the second round. Like I said, the Brood, a great faction, just very short-lived and didn't have any really just solid storylines with anybody. They were part of the ministry for a little while, which I thought was really cool, hooking them up with The Undertaker. But, there's so much more that could have been done with the Brood, and it just didn't happen. Meanwhile, DX just kind of ran roughshod over WWE for quite a while, and really were, as far as just strictly WWE factions go, probably the best one ever. So, that is this week's Fantasy Booker for the CHS Faction Tournament. DX versus the Brood. DX is the winner, moving on to the next round. So, getting into the final segment of the show where I talk about what might not be the most popular opinion ever, and I'm talking about the Weekly Hot Take. My hot take for this week is this: Roman Reigns' return and heel turn is exactly what WWE needs right now. People have been saying for a long time Roman needs to turn heel. He needs more of an edge. He's too much of a nice guy. The biggest pop that Roman ever got from a WWE audience was when he had his rivalry going with Triple H, which led to a match at WrestleMania. When he came out on the Raw before WrestleMania and just destroyed Triple H, just beat the crap out of him, just let loose, on Triple H, the fans went crazy. But they didn't continue with that. They didn't continue letting him just be a monster. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do now. The way he came out and went after The Fiend and Strowman, that is how Roman Reigns needs to be, in my opinion. That is a Roman Reigns that the fans are going to start getting behind. And, you know, the fact that he was gone for a few months is good, because now he's, you know, kind of fresh, new again. And obviously there's the internet trolls that are like, oh, God, Roman Reigns should stay away. Shut up, you know. But I think a heel Roman Reigns with an edge, a Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in his corner is, you know, exactly what's needed. That is what's going to elevate Roman Reigns to that next level that WWE's been trying to get him to for years. And, you know, if they do it right, if they let him go out there and just destroy people, and, you know, I want to see a more violent Roman Reigns. That's what I want to see. And I'm hoping they change up his ring gear. I really am. You know, if they're going to make changes to him, make changes. Commit to it. You know, get rid of the stupid flak jacket and, you know, just let him go out there and just dominate people. That's the Roman Reigns that I think needs to be seen in WWE right now. So that's pretty much going to do it for this week. Yeah, like I said, I'll be back next week with the results of Payback from tonight. And if I don't get the show up early with a preview and predictions for All Out, I'll obviously have all the results from that as well. But I'm going to try to get the show up on Saturday next week to get those predictions out there. I didn't do it this week because I don't think the card is 100% finalized. We still have one more Dynamite. So, yeah, that's my plan, to put the show out on Saturday next week so I get the previews and predictions in before All Out. So once again, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Patreon.com/CatchHookShoot is still a work in progress. ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for all your t-shirt needs. CatchHookShoot.BigCartel.com for other t-shirts and hats that you won't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. And the email, as always, is CatchHookShoot@gmail.com. So, again, thanks everybody for checking out the show. Thank you for all the downloads. And also next week I will have a preview of night 1 of Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series, which is coming up 3 consecutive Saturdays in September, the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. Those will all be broadcast live on the Podbean app, myself and Charlie G doing the commentary. The card for the first night is sick, and it's just night 1. Head to the CHS Twitter or Facebook or Instagram page. You can find the link for the live broadcast of night 1, and you can also see the all the matches on the card for night 1. It's just going to be an amazing show, so make sure you check that out. So with that, I am going to sign off. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all of the wrestling coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.